Welcome back to another episode of Let Me Reach. I am your host, Philip Sumter, only one P-Duck. And I know it's not Friday, but I thought about something as I was working out this morning, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I felt like I have to compare and contrast this from this. And what I want to talk about today. And by the way, my finger, I cut it cutting up some, I think at the time I was cutting up watermelon or pineapples. One of those. But I'm going to talk about the Boston Tea Party, because this is a group of people who was like, what the hell is going on? Do you guys see what's happening? And they were like, yeah, this is bullshit. Let's take a stand over tea. They took stands over tea. We're not taking stands against anything. And I find that very, very scary, because the future of our, I don't have kids, but the future of the kids is in our hands. And I don't think we're doing a good job of giving them leverage on things that they should have. But the Boston Tea Party in general was a historic event, and it showed that people can push government policies away if they do it united, if they do it jointly. And right now, with all this divisiveness, it's a reason why everything is, against each other. You have people on the left talking about, the shutdown is because of the left, or the shutdown is because of the right. And it's like, and then when you really think about it, the people at the top, left, right, they work for the same people. I mean, politics are stupid. And there's so many people out here who think I enjoy politics. I hate politics. I hate politics in sports. I hate politics in entertainment. I hate politics in politics. I hate politics in school. I hate politics in everything. It's the worst shit, because you could be great at something, but if you're not politically correct, or if you're not in with this group, then you'll never make it. Politics is stupid. Nonetheless, here we are. So again, I'm going to talk about how this Boston Tea Party kind of should affect how we do things moving forward, but I don't think it will, because propaganda works on us too well and people don't critically think. But that's neither here nor there. After this intro, we'll go over this.
Only one. Yeah.
Okay, Yedix, if you can briefly describe the Boston Tea Party. I'm sure everybody's heard about the Boston Tea Party, but just for context.
The Boston Tea Party dilemma centered around a key question of taxation and control, specifically whether the British Parliament had the right to tax the American colonies without their consent. In the 1760s and the 70s, Britain was in deep debt from wars, especially the French and Indian War. To raise money, Parliament passed several taxes on the American colonies, including the Tea Act of 1773. This act allowed the struggling British East India Company to sell tea directly to the colonies at a lower price, but it still included a tax the colonists had to pay to Britain. The colonists actually got cheaper tea, but accepting it meant accepting Parliament rights to tax them, something they strongly opposed. So the dilemma was, do we buy the cheaper tea and indirectly accept taxation without representation? Or do we resist, even if this means tension or conflict with Britain? Many colonists, especially in Boston, chose resistance. On December 16, 1773, members of the Sons of Liberty, disguised as Native Americans, boarded the British ships and dumped 342 chests of tea into the Boston harbor. This protest became known as the Boston Tea Party. Britain responded harshly with coercive acts, also called the Intolerable Acts, which punished Massachusetts and escalated tensions. This reaction helped unify the colonies and set the stage for the American Revolution.
So obviously the Boston Tea Party was a very historic event. It didn't start the revolution, but it definitely sparked people's conversations, and it sparked conversation, and it sparked people to actually take a look as to what's actually going on and be like, okay, that is stupid. But it takes unified people. It takes people to actually come together and be like, okay, we're not going to allow this stupid shit to actually happen anymore. This is ridiculous. What are we doing? But what came from this American Revolution, Yedix?
1. Independence. The 13 colonies broke free from British rule and became the United States of America in 1776. 2. Democracy and self-government. The revolution introduced the idea that people should govern themselves, leading to the creation of the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights. 3. inspiration for others. It inspired other countries like France and Latin American nations to fight for their own freedoms and rights. 4. Economic freedom. America gained control of its own trade and economy, no longer restricted by British taxes and laws. And 5. National identity. The revolution united the colonies under shared ideals of liberty, equality, and individual rights, forming a new American identity. In short, the American Revolution created a new independent nation built on the belief that government should serve the people, not control them.
Okay, so the reason why I'm talking about this situation is history repeats itself over and over and over. If you don't nip shit in the butt, if you don't fix it, it will continue to happen. Now, the Boston Tea Party, Britain had their thumb all on us. Now, in 2025, it's not Britain, it's another country. These people stood up for tea. There's a lot of things that we should be standing up in the past centuries. These people did it for tea. We can't even do it for genocide. It's a sad reality. And honestly, it's a true shit stain on America. And America has a lot of shit stains that we don't want to talk about, but this is up there. And as far as the government shutdown and, budget cuts and all these sorts of things and federal cuts, and I think it's weird how Congress obviously still gets paid while being the reason the motherfucker is shut down. I think it's weird how federal workers don't get paid. I think it's more weird how the military doesn't get paid. And on top of all this, we're still sending money to other countries. It's not Britain, not anymore, but history has repeated itself. While I do think that things will get better at some point, I do think that there's more good than there is evil. I just think that the good has to speak up and push out the evil. So I said this on a previous episode, it's going to take good to push out the evil. Now, just like, I don't know if you've seen Black Klansmen, but I can't go into a white attire and blend in because they're not going to say the things if I were at that table as if I weren't at that table, if you know what I mean. So it's going to take the good whites, again, to push out the bad whites. And one thing that white people haven't truly done is stand up to bad whites. And I think that's why we're still in the situation we're in, unfortunately, is because you still have a lot of those bad whites at the top. So, yeah, I said it. Nonetheless, that's what this episode was about. This was kind of a shop drop episode. I felt compelled to do this and I didn't want to wait, so I kind of just got it done. Now it's going to come out on a Sunday tomorrow. It's probably going to be around the same time as my Ravens getting smashed. So, yeah. Pray for me and my Ravens. Marley, come on, Stink. Come on, Stink. Come on, Stink. And with that being said, I will see you next time. And it's always a pleasure. Like, share, subscribe. Marley, anything? She said. Y'all take care.